Well, know that common narrative, right? Go to school, get those good grades, land yourself a steady job. But then what happens? You get handed your diploma, maybe you're buzzing about the new career, and then, well, suddenly you're slammed into this world of credit cards, student loans, investment jargon. It feels like a foreign language. It's a common reality, isn't it? Often pretty disorienting. So today we're diving headfirst into a really compelling question. Why doesn't our traditional education system really prepare us for managing our money? Our mission in this deep dive is to unpack this disconnect, explore its surprisingly deep historical roots, and most importantly, empower you with the knowledge to confidently navigate your financial future, regardless of what school taught you or didn't teach you. Get ready for some genuine aha moments as we unpack this. It's quite the picture, isn't it? Graduating, maybe with a valuable degree, only to find yourself struggling to figure out a lease agreement, wondering how to tackle that student loan debt, or just feeling totally overwhelmed by all the financial decisions hitting you at once. Our education system often makes this sort of silent promise, doesn't it? Work hard, get good grades, a good job follows. But, well, that promise feels a bit hollow when you realize you don't have the basic skills to manage the money you earn.
You've absolutely hit on a critical point there. This lack of practical financial preparation, it isn't just some small inconvenience. It creates what effectively feels like a minefield out there in the working world. It's what we call financial illiteracy, and its real impact, the core of it, is that it leaves you vulnerable. You're constantly facing aggressive credit card offers, these confusing investment products, this pressure to maintain a certain lifestyle,
Oh,
often without the foundation to make sound decisions.
right. You don't have the tools.
Exactly. And this leads directly to poor financial choices, maybe spiraling debt, and just this pervasive feeling of financial insecurity. And the consequences, when you really dig into them, they're far more profound than just missing out on getting wealthy. We're talking about a systemic vulnerability. It's almost like a hidden tax paid by people who aren't financially educated. It fuels predatory lending, traps people in debt cycles.
Locks them out of opportunities.
Yeah, precisely. Locks people out of crucial investment opportunities that could genuinely build generational wealth. Financial literacy, at its heart, it isn't about complex algorithms or just balancing a checkbook, though that's part of it. It's about understanding how money actually works in your daily life. It's about making informed choices, spending, saving, investing, managing debt. It's about shifting from being a passenger in your financial life to being the pilot. And that's the real empowerment.
That's such a powerful way to put it, passenger to pilot. Love that. And if this knowledge is so fundamental, so empowering, it really begs the question, why isn't it just standard in school, like a core subject? To really grasp the roots of this disconnect, we need to rewind the clock, right? Back to the Industrial Revolution.
Indeed.
Yeah.
We need to look back. When we connect this to the bigger historical picture, the Industrial Revolution was just this period of monumental change. It transformed societies from agrarian, farm-based into industrial powerhouses, factories, mass production. This era created this huge, unprecedented demand for a new kind of worker. And our education systems, well, they adapted pretty dramatically to meet that need.
How so?
Schools essentially became, engines designed to churn out a predictable, compliant workforce. The focus shifted. Yes, basic literacy and numeracy were important, but crucially, so were obedience and punctuality.
Yeah, the factory skills.
Exactly. Traits absolutely essential for the synchronized rhythm of factory work. The goal wasn't really to cultivate independent entrepreneurs or, savvy investors. It was about creating reliable, productive employees for those booming industries. And think about it. Before this huge industrial shift, education was often deeply tied into family businesses, apprenticeships. Young people learned trades. They understood the value of goods. They often managed money through direct, hands-on experience, right there in their communities.
Okay, that makes sense.
But as factories replaced small workshops and mass production took over, that direct connection to practical financial understanding, it just dwindled significantly. Standardized learning, while maybe necessary for that industrializing world, it sort of inadvertently severed that practical link between education and real-world money skills.
Okay, that shift in focus, shaping the workforce, it makes practical sense on one level. But you mentioned earlier, and some historians argue this, that maybe this lack of financial education wasn't just an accident, an oversight. What's the argument for it being a deliberate choice? That feels like a pretty big claim.
It is a significant claim, and it raises a really intriguing point about power dynamics. The perspective here is that a financially literate workforce, one capable of independent thinking, understanding their own value, maybe even creating their own wealth, could potentially pose a challenge.
A challenge to the established order.
Exactly. Imagine if every factory worker fully grasped investing, compound interest, or even just basic debt management. They might be far less inclined to just passively accept low wages or stay in jobs offering little financial security or upward mobility.
They might start demanding more or leaving to start their own thing.
Precisely. So whether it was a fully conscious, backroom conspiracy or maybe a more subtle systemic thing reinforcing the status quo, the historical reality seems pretty clear that the lack of comprehensive financial literacy in public education largely benefited those in power, those who controlled the factories, the capital. They relied on a workforce dependent on wages, not one empowered by financial independence and a clear path to building their own capital. It created a dependency, you could say, whether by design or just by consequence.
Wow. That's a powerful and, yeah, somewhat unsettling idea that the gap could have been somewhat intentional. So fast forward to today, it feels like we're still kind of grappling with an education system designed for maybe a bygone era. How has that historical legacy directly shaped the divide we see in financial know-how today?
It's created this fascinating duality, a truth often whispered maybe rather than openly discussed, which is that the wealthy, well, they rarely rely on traditional schools to teach their kids about money. Almost never.
Right, they handle it themselves.
Absolutely. For them, financial literacy isn't just another school subject. It's seen as a foundational form of power. It's the critical key to preserving wealth, growing wealth across generations. While the broader public education system is, by and large, still kind of structured to prepare people to be effective employees. Children from affluent backgrounds are often mentored from a really young age to become entrepreneurs, investors, astute stewards of capital.
So it's more than just inheriting money, it's inheriting knowledge, a way of thinking.
Exactly. It's about inheriting an immersive financial education. It's not just about the cash. Picture like a young teenager sitting in on family discussions about a real estate deal, or maybe overhearing their parents dissecting the pros and cons of an investment, or even actively participating in managing a small family project, learning to track expenses, calculate profit.
Real world stuff.
Tangible financial decision making in real time. Long before a textbook would ever touch it. It's this continuous, observational, participatory learning process. It instills a mindset, a deep understanding of how to leverage money as a tool, how to create opportunities, build security, achieve goals. They learn to think in terms of assets and liabilities, how to make money work for them, not just how to work for money.
That distinction, working for money versus making money work for you. This is huge, isn't it? And it really highlights how financial literacy isn't some luxury item. It's an absolute necessity. For many people, especially those maybe coming from disadvantaged backgrounds, it's an incredibly powerful tool for social mobility, a genuine path to maybe breaking free from cycles of debt and insecurity. So what does all this mean for you listening right now? It means we have the power to level the playing field, one financially literate person at a time.
Absolutely. Which raises the big question. Okay, how do you get there? How do you gain this literacy? The journey to financial freedom, it really means taking matters into your own hands. You simply don't have to wait for the education system to catch up. It might be a long wait.
Yeah, don't hold your breath.
Right. Because the good news is resources for financial literacy are, frankly, more abundant and accessible today than ever before, many of them completely free. It's about embracing continuous learning, proactively demystifying the language of money.
Okay, so where should people start? What are some concrete resources?
Well, for self-directed learning, you've got a wealth of options. You could start with foundational books. Something like Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki is classic for challenging conventional thinking about money.
That's a popular one.
Very. Podcasts are excellent too. Learn while you commute or whatever. Shows like The Tim Ferriss Show often have amazing conversations with investors, entrepreneurs, or something more focused like Invest Ed for direct financial insights. And then there are online platforms like Coursera, Khan Academy. They offer invaluable courses. You can learn everything from basic personal finance up to advanced investing strategies.
So the information is definitely out there.
It really is. And this whole process, it's about decoding paths to wealth that traditional education often just ignores. Robert Kiyosaki, for instance, he popularized the cash flow quadrant. It's a way to understand where income comes from. You have employee E, self-employed S, business owner B, and investor I.
ESBI. Okay.
Right. Employees trade time for money. Self-employed folks have more autonomy, but they're still fundamentally trading their time. True financial freedom, as he argues, often lies in transitioning towards being a business owner, creating systems that generate income, or an investor where your money makes money for you.
Moving from the left side ES to the right side BI.
That's the idea. It's a fundamental shift in perspective. Which brings us back to that crucial concept, shifting from just earning to owning. Traditional education often conditions us to think linearly. Work, get paid, spend, repeat.
The rat race.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
But financial empowerment demands a different view. Money is a tool. Its purpose is to create more wealth. So the focus needs to shift fundamentally towards acquiring assets, things that put money into your pocket, rather than just earning a paycheck and spending it mostly on liabilities, things that take money out of your pocket. Understanding that difference, really internalizing it, is a game changer.
Asset versus liability. Simple but profound.
Absolutely. So to build your own financial toolkit, where do you start practically? Start with what I think is the most valuable tool.
Budgeting.
B word. Yeah, it gets a bad rap, but it's not about restriction. It's about gaining control, gaining clarity over your money. Track everything for a month. Use a simple spreadsheet or one of the many great apps out there now. You'll likely be amazed at the insights you get about your own spending habits and where you can maybe redirect funds towards your actual goals.
Knowledge is power, even about your coffee habit.
Exactly. Then develop a personal financial plan. This just outlines your goals, buying a home, retiring comfortably, starting a business, whatever it is, and creates a framework to get there. Now, a financial advisor can certainly help create a personalized plan, but the very first step is always getting clear on your goals.
Got to know where you're going.
Right. And finally, stay informed. Read financial news, subscribe to reputable newsletters, follow experts you trust. Financial literacy isn't a destination you arrive at. It's really a lifelong journey of continuous learning and adapting.
So we've just peeled back the layers, haven't we? Looked at the historical reasons why schools often skip over vital money matters. It creates this gap, a significant one, that the wealthy often meticulously fill with their own teachings, their own mentorship. But the most powerful takeaway here, I think, is that you have the knowledge and the power to break free from this inherited system. Your financial future isn't set in stone. It's actively shaped by the choices you make, the learning you embrace starting today. Financial literacy isn't just for a select few, it's essential for everyone. And the information is out there, often free, just waiting for you to unlock your potential.
And maybe think about this. Imagine a world where financial success is determined not by your background, not by your circumstances, but purely by knowledge and informed decisions. What role can you play? Not just in transforming your own financial story, which is huge, but also maybe in advocating for greater financial education, helping create a more just, more equitable society where financial literacy is a right, accessible to everyone right from an early age.
That's a really powerful thought to sit with, a great challenge for all of us. So take that first step today. Start learning, start questioning the old ways of thinking. Embrace financial literacy. It really is time to empower yourself and actively rewrite your financial story.